And call this meeting to order, the first meeting of the Investments in IT Improvement and Modernization Projects Oversight Board. If we could call the roll.
Senator Nemes.
Present.
Representative Ull. Representative Hodgson.
Here.
Co-Chair Williams.
Here.
Chair Lockett.
Here. All right, our first item on the agenda is the approval of the minutes of the last meeting, November 13th, 24. Do I hear a motion?
Motion. Second.
Having a motion and a second, all in favor of approval of the minutes, say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? All right. The minutes are approved. So today we are going to talk about and discuss BR 355, and I've asked Representative Hodgson if he would kind of give an overview of the bill, and then we will have time for input from anyone in the audience, also from our members as well. So, Representative?
Okay, so this bill is just kind of a clarification of what we do here after a year of operating. The original sponsor, Representative Pratt, is retired and didn't get to participate in the committee for very long. So we, based on a year of experience, we've revised a couple of things. The first one is to officially adopt a pronounceable name. That's
a good idea.
ITOC or ITOC, because I never could even remember our whole official name. So I think that'll help us all. Call it ITOC, Information Technology Oversight Committee. We put in a new definition of cybersecurity project just to clarify what that is. Down on item 4, we've got a new definition of a legacy project. We had some discussion in this forum about what exactly a legacy project is, and we lay out in the definition what that is. You see a lot of little insertions where we've changed board to committee over and over again. On page 3, we've advanced, this is important, we've moved the date up to April 15th for the annual submission, just to give us time to consider the submissions, make our recommendations, and get it into the process for the capital projects part of the budget. So move that date from October 1st to April 15th every year. And I've added the requirement for a 6-year outline and funding sources for a transition plan for technical improvements. At the bottom of the page there, this is defining the data stream that each state agency provides, and not that we've had any trouble, but just to compel submission by statute here. They will define the projects, the cybersecurity projects, the maintenance and upgrade projects that are required, and the planned development of future technology systems. And just a permissive note saying that every agency can consult with and obtain information from COT to get the requirements done. So defining the information flow, advancing the date that it's due. And I think the rest of the changes on page 4 and 5 are just in keeping with the definition we already covered, changing small bits of language. So Matt Lockett is going to file this bill. I will be primary co-sponsor. I don't think there's anything controversial in that, but just in case, do we have any commentary, any thoughts, any things that we ought to change in here? This is really just kind of codifying what we've been doing and kind of evolved into what we want to get done.
Yeah. Any questions from our members?
Do we want to ask COT?
Yeah, we will. We want to. Any questions from us at all before we go to COT? All right, seeing none. Is there anyone in the audience that would like to respond or ask questions? Please come to the table and turn your mic on and state your name, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. My name is John Hicks, here as the State Budget Director.
And Jim Barnhart, I'm interim CIO.
I appreciate the opportunity to comment on bill drafts. Very helpful for us to kind of give some thoughts to ideas. We understand what you're shooting for in terms of alignment of this effort as it drills into the planning and budgeting processes that the Commonwealth and the General Assembly have. So those make good sense. We just have a couple of suggestions to maybe align things first. Let me turn it over to Jim. He's got some technical issues maybe around some of the definitions that I think are trying to be a little more incisive.
Yeah, I thought instead of legacy project, we change it to legacy system, and then we expanded on the legacy, what is legacy. And I think we tried to cover every scenario that we could on the, and then, what was it?
Yeah, this is on the application.
Yeah. And then also the definition of application. So we've got both those, and I think the letter to you all explains all of that. So we'd like to suggest those changes.
And Mr. Chairman, also just on the calendar, right? You had proposed the first kind of information provided by the agencies to be this coming April. We're suggesting that on an ongoing basis, that's fine. That works just along. That's the same timeline as the capital plans are submitted by state agencies. So the April deadline is a good deadline for that planning project. For the first one, though, we were thinking that might be a little short. Just in once, say, this bill is passed and it's in law, in March, that's a short period of time for agencies to get that done. So we're just offering maybe the idea of a little later timeline for the very first report, and only for that reason. Otherwise, the April deadline makes sense and is consistent with the 6-year capital planning process. And then this is a minor drafting issue. In April, it says that to provide that report in link to an agency's budget request. Well, there isn't an agency's budget request until October, and so we understand the linkage; it makes sense. But wanted to let you know that that there isn't a budget request at the time that this linkage was to take place. And those are the main suggestions we have, just to try to kind of, again, align the bill as I think you intend to the planning and budgeting process calendars.
Okay. Senator Nemes.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Along with your legacy project to put it in legacy system, would you also think of cybersecurity project as cybersecurity system?
Yeah, it could follow that same thing.
Yeah, because I was thinking that too. Project seems like something you're thinking of doing, not something that is existing.
So we could suggest that same thing to go with on the cybersecurity side.
Thank you.
Are there other questions from members?
Yeah, I think we might have skipped over this, but it's the idea that the 6-year plan would be biennial.
Oh, yeah, thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, again, to make it align with the capital planning process rather than an annual report, once every 2-year report.
I mean, I think that's probably appropriate, because given the size and complexity of projects, doing an annual update is a lot of paperwork for not a lot of new information, really.
Yeah, no, we agree, particularly as you are looking at investments, to modernize and to contend with that. That aligns, better with the budget process.
And do we want that 6-year look on April 15th, or is October soon enough for the 6-year? Mr. Chairman, anybody have thoughts or opinions?
Are you talking about just the first year?
Well, for every year. I don't know if that's too much workload to get done by April 15th to have the 6-year look or if it's appropriate to have both of those together, so you are considering the present with the longer-term future in mind. Just like to have some discussion about the timing of that.
Are there comments from you in terms of that timeline?
I would say when I saw the 6-year, I was thinking of the 6-year capital plan and their relationship. So I think I have no problem with them being together, right? Because the idea that you're working toward here on legacy projects or systems is what will you need to do to modernize them, and right? I think you all defined it as systems or projects that no longer have support. Right, and that happens. Correct. Right, in this world, and so in that sense, I have no problem with the 6-year outline.
Okay, April 15th is fine.
Yeah, and I'm just saying that the very first one, though, if you could scooch out the
it back
deadline
a
a
little
little bit, but the April's fine.
Could you put a number on scooch?
We
Define
suggest-
scooch
We
for us,
suggested mid-July
Mid-July,
for the
okay.
first report, just to give the,
Okay.
because
the
you
first
all
one,
got to
July
put out
15th.
instructions.
Okay.
See that?
Okay.
Oh, there it is, okay.
Go ahead, Jay. Yes.
Thank you
Senator
very much,
Williams,
Mr.
sorry.
Chairman. Yeah, so we're talking about pushing that linkage back to October. Do you have a process that occurs earlier? I think what we're looking for is to try to get in to the project and the linkage, see what's coming before that actually is fixed. So what's the process that we might be able to engage with you a little bit earlier? What would you suggest?
Kind of harkening back to the 6-year capital plan, right? And so in essence, this is a little more granular look at legacy systems and cyber systems. Rather than link to the budget request, you might have in the information you're seeking, right? We're going to have a list of instructions. Here's the information we want each agency to provide about the legacy system, right? I would ask for financial source of fund types of info. You're already going to be asking for a kind of a how much question, and you might just add to that and where from, the funding source. And I think that is how the capital plan works as well. And so that's done in April. So I think that would be an easy way to get that done.
If those are coinciding in April, should there be some other kind of link to the budget in October 1st, or somewhere around in there?
And I passed over that, Mr. Chairman. But one idea is to get with your the LRC's Office of Budget Review, who drafts the biennial agency budget instructions. In there, you can make that linkage, saying, for example, for a capital IT project that an agency is going to request in their budget, they point to the capital plan. Say, we want these things to be coinciding. You do the same thing here. You can just put in the budget instructions for, let's say, funding you're asking to modernize a legacy system because it's no longer supported, in your budget request, link to this report. And so that the budget instructions can do that for you.
Okay. Any other comments or questions?
I was just going to suggest we run through this in the bill format and make sure we're in agreement on the changes. First change I've got is page 1, item 2. We're going to change cybersecurity project to cybersecurity system. Then down on line item number 4, it's going to say legacy system rather than legacy project. So that's second change. Third change is on page 3, line item 3A. We're going to say July 15th instead of April 15th, 2025, and continuing on the 15th thereafter. The fourth change,
And then we're going to change it July 5th.
no, July 15th.
3A
for
will be correct,
2025.
July 15th, 2025.
And then on or before April
And on
15th,
before April
annually
15th.
thereafter. Okay. Number 4 is, or excuse me, later on in that paragraph, the fourth change is the 6-year outline and funding source for that transition, and we need to put the word biennial in there somewhere. Do we need to specify which biennial to coincide with the budget? Is that appropriate language?
I believe that would be appropriate, yes.
Okay. Fifth change down here on the last line about the information linked to the agency's budget. I don't think we want to suggest that link is an electronic link because it might exceed our capabilities, but I want to say point to referencing some word of that nature. Shall provide information referencing the agency's budget request instead of the word link. You know what I'm
Could it
saying?
be appropriate to put for each state agency shall provide information provided to the agencies? No, that wouldn't work.
I just using the word link kind of suggests there
Take
might
the
be an
link
electronic
out,
connection.
but you could
So,
put in electronic or otherwise.
you could.
If you
Is it
put
feasible?
in linked, comma, electronic or otherwise to the agents. agency's budget request.
Technical guidance there, John and Jim.
Your microphone, please.
Thank you. One idea there might be just to be, because it's the April timeline, is that you provide information on the estimated expenditure amount and funding source or something like that. What that does is that provides in the April report, kind of like we're doing in the April report for a capital plan IT project. And then in the budget instructions, you require the linkage, which doesn't have to be in the statute here. You can put it in the statute if you want, but that's, I would ask for the information you're seeking here, and then with the budget instructions, link the two.
All right, just for the sanity of our bill drafter, we would say each state agency shall provide information regarding agency's budget request, or can you give us exact language on that, John?
So regarding the estimated amount of expenditures and their funding source, something in that neighborhood.
Okay.
So you want to break those down, correct, by number regarding the budget request for, and then add those to the list.
It's another way to do it. Yeah.
Okay.
So I guess in April, you're just saying it's going to cost this many $1 million and it would come out of this funding source. And then in November, you would have the actual budget request notes.
Yes.
Okay. Does that need to be in the statute, or?
That's up to you all. I mean, the way the capital plan is done now is it's the budget instructions that align them together.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Are we getting a closer integration between the executive branch budget and LRC's budget? Is that something that's coming with EMARS being, or not EMARS, but the budget system?
Well,
Is
I
that being
think
planned?
one thing has happened since the legislative branch has moved into a different piece of the same software that we use. The interface, if you will, between the information the governor's recommendation and the agency's request provides and the governor's recommendation provides, it fits better. Let me just say that, because in the past, we've done it for 30 years now, we just develop an interface that you know, we throw the ball and you get the catcher's mitt, and we just, the IT folks do it. Now that'll be an easier interface.
Right, because now we're sort of in the same
We have the
system,
same
is what I think.
language. We've got the same kind of database structure. So yeah, it's definitely more in tune.
Thank you, Ray. Yeah, so this should be easier in the future.
Yep. Any other questions or comments about the bill? I think we are in line with the comments made by John and Jim. Anybody else? Any other questions? John or Jim, do either one of you have anything additional? Any other comments?
No, sir. Thank you.
Okay, very good. Well, thank you very much for your comments. All right, we will move on from the BR and then begin our discussion on future meetings, when we should meet. We were talking about this on the way here, actually, and the proposal was made that we meet once a month until April, so that would be February and March meeting at a date and time to be settled on from here. Are there any questions about that? Any additional proposals, comments, emotional outbursts, anything at all about?
To prevent conflicts, the best time would be on a Monday sometime, which is not a legislative day, or Friday upon adjournment, or upon adjournment during the week. If you don't want to do upon adjournment, I think the only day, 8 o'clock.
We don't want to do 8 o'clock in the mornings.
Then it's upon adjournment.
At least the current chair doesn't want to do 8 o'clock in the mornings.
I'm going to recommend Friday on adjournment rather than an extra travel day to Frankfurt on Monday, because I think we'll all be here and we're all relatively local.
Well, I think we have, the Senate might prefer Monday.
So
and it looks like, what?
at least one member of the House cannot do on Mondays. because this is a part-time job, and he has another job.
Okay. I mean,
Oh, I mean,
this
So
doesn't
upon
sustain
adjournment-
his family.
upon adjournment on Fridays.
Upon adjournment on Friday would work for me.
Yeah. Because I don't think anybody here's got a 3-hour drive home, or so that
Correct.
like all the other committees do. So
Yeah. Is that
Upon adjournment.
upon
Fine.
adjournment
Upon
on Fridays?
adjournment of-
Does anybody have any problem with that? Senators?
No problem. Okay,
No-
we're
nobody?
fine. I
Okay,
think
so
the
Fridays
Senate-
upon
the
adjournment.
Senate defers to the Senate minority on this one.
way to go, Cassie.
Is that recorded? Can we get that recorded somewhere?
It's on YouTube.
It's on YouTube.
That's
yeah.
not unusual.
All right. So we've decided Fridays upon adjournment, and then we will pick the Fridays that we want to meet in February and in March. All right. Any other questions? Any other items for discussion? Seeing none, do I have a motion to adjourn?
Second.
Motion and second. We're adjourned.
All right.